Tansei Bujuanin. My name is David McLeod of the National Indigenous Programming Advisory Committee. In early October, 6 artists took part in the 2024 OHSOTO'KINO Music Incubator, a special program designed to give artists career guidance and mentorship from Indigenous and non-Indigenous industry leaders. I had a chance to sit down and chat with the participants, and here's a bit of our conversation. This is Osani Balkaran at the National Music Center. Osani, welcome to the National Music Center. We're here at the OHSOTO'KINO Music Incubator, which you're taking part in with 5 other artists. Thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us today. We are really interested to get to know you a little bit more. So, your stage name is the OB. Your artist name, I should say, is the OB. How do you define yourself?
I define myself as an alternative rapper. Creative. Yeah. And
I've seen you perform a few times, and I know that your brand of hip hop is different from what maybe most people would say. I wouldn't necessarily say it's experimental, but it has a different vibe. How would you define that?
I'd say what I do is hip hop because I'm a really big fan of the genre at the end of the day. And I remember in the 90s, I was born in 99, so I didn't live the 90s. But a lot of my mentors were 90s rappers, and they said it's really good to be as unique and as true to your sound as possible, because in the 90s, if you had rappers, nobody sounded like each other. Everyone had their own unique and their own versatile sound. And so, rap is a collage. It's built off of samples. So what I do is I sample different music that's really important to me and just try to make it as cool as possible. So at the end of the day, I would say what I make is hip hop. Is just alternative to what you would hear on the mainstream right now.
What you also do in your music is you bring other people in as well, like you're a collaborator. And why is that important for you to have a circle of people that you work with?
Collaboration's really important for me because it's who I am. I'm Cree, I'm Guyanese, and I was born in Winnipeg, and so I just feel like for my music to be uniquely me, I have to collaborate because I'm more than just one thing. So, I don't come from a family of musicians. I come from my mom's she's an artist and she's also an academic and a really smart person. And
she's got a doctor title as well.
Yeah, she's Dr. Monica Sinclair. And so something that I learned from her work is to always be interested, always be curious, and that's the approach that I take to my music is, try to learn about as many genres as possible and collaborate with people, because that's how really good things happen and really magical moments happen. And so that's the approach. And you collaborate with people, you learn more about your sound, and it makes it more of a feel more communal. Yeah.
I know we talked about the experimental and you're reaching out for different sounds, but your words are also really interesting as well. They're it's almost like a cut up poetry, I would say, just of different thoughts. How do you approach what you're saying? Because what you're saying in hip hop is so important.
Yeah, There's a couple different things because rap at the end of the day, it's an acronym, so it stands for rhythm and poetry. So you have to have rhythm, which is one of the hardest things for me. I barely got rhythm. But, for me, rap's always been sort of, when I was listening to rap when I was younger, one of my favorite bars was by Jay-Z in Hard Knock Life, and he said, "From futons and cots to green-sized machines and yachts," and that was the first lyrics I ever heard. I thought it was really amazing because it was I was sleeping on a cot at that time,
nice.
And I thought
you got it.
Yeah, if he goes from a cot to a yacht, I was that's cool. I was it's changing. Rap's always been about. It's a big part of it is taking something kind of mundane or something that maybe feels like shameful and like trying to like make it sound cool or make it sound prideful. And I think, for me, my lyrics are really important in that because, like what I feel and what I'm about, I know that my pain it's not just me that's experiencing it. So many people are experiencing the same kind of pain as me. And so that's like, try to use my lyrics for that one. Make it, take those things that you don't feel good about and try to like, make it feel a little bit better than what it is. And and so that's the approach that I take to my music and my lyric writing. And ultimately too, because my mom's usually in the crowd, I want to make sure I'm saying things that'll like make her proud too.
Awesome. Well, and just to go back a little bit, you were talking about your timing. I think your timing's quite interesting because you use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Because you might not be on the beat, you might be in between the beats, then come back on the beat, but it lends itself to what you're doing within your music. So I think your timing is perfect for the music that you do.
Thanks.
Yeah. And if we talk about some of the themes in your music, one song that's gained some attention is I Am Not a Terrorist.
Yeah.
And what can you share about that particular song?
I mean, that song is really important to me. Not a Terrorist. It talks about my neighborhood and it talks about me, myself as a person. And the theme of that song, right, is about police brutality and the system and like where I grew up. For most of my life, I just feel like, like the system hasn't really been that great to me. And, it's taken away a lot of my power and like it's taken away a lot of my voice because it's like, I was never an angry person. I was never a bad person. I was just really into rap and I was really into like the style of it. And I think, growing up, just being a tall brown person in Winnipeg, you're looked at a certain way, and even just like the neighborhood that I'm from, it's like there's a helicopter over top of us at night, and then stores you have to buzz in to get to most stores. Things have bars on the window, so I think at a certain point, growing up, I always thought like, yeah, it's like protecting us from the threat. And then as I got older, I was like, do they think that I'm the threat? And so Not a Terrorist talks about that one. Mm-hmm. And it's more like, for me, that song's about like, reclaiming that power back. And it's like, I don't need to be bigger. I don't need to be stronger than people. It's like my power is like from within. It's, it's about, it's about myself and, how I don't really feel as powerless anymore.
And you brought your mom up in that song as well, but it took place, during a Christmas parade?
Yeah. One of the lyrics was like, my mom hurt her leg at the Santa Claus parade. They asked her if she okay or if she drank. So it's like, when I was younger, when I was about like, I think 11 or 10, me and my mom went to the Santa Claus parade in Winnipeg, and she like fell down. She had a like nasty fall, and she hurt her leg really badly, and I was trying to help her up, and she couldn't stand up. And then the police came and they didn't help her up. The first question was like, was she drinking? And I just thought like, why does that matter? She just needs to be helped up. And they had all these questions ahead of time before I thought it was I didn't think it was good.
Yeah, and
negligent.
And so this is something that in your lyrics, it's a patchwork of some truths going on.
Yeah.
So what does that make the song mean to you afterwards?
I mean, the song for me, it's about because those are like the first two verses, and then the last verse, it's like I make them see the best of me. Nobody's best of me or stress of me. On the bus, white tees saying love and memories, and to my brothers, to my sisters, rest in peace. So, in those first two verses, I feel like I'm delving into like everything that's like happened and the anguish that everything's caused. And then in the third verse, I'm talking about, it's like I do feel a lot of anguish, and I do feel maybe betrayed by the system and by the powers that be. But I think ultimately it's made me a better person. I feel like I have more empathy. I feel like, kindness is a really big value to me now, because I've lived a life where a lot of people have been really unkind to me. And so I think, the third verse of that song, and just this record in general, it's about taking all these things that, are out of my control, and then trying to figure out how I can use it to like my advantage, or, for self-development and self-growth, because that's really important for me. Like, how can I be a more empathetic person? How can I be more respectful? And as unfortunate as these events are, you just have to figure out what you can learn from it, move forward, and hope the best for the next. And I mean, I like the word hope, because hope always leaves room for error.
Awesome. The you mentioned your Guyanese and your Cree heritage.
Yeah.
What has your Cree heritage brought to you?
Oh man, it's brought so many different things. I mean, I think the biggest thing about being Cree is like there's that one quote that we heard while coming up here. It's like, you teach in private, you celebrate in public, and that one's like, I feel like I've let that one ruminate a lot, and I'd say that's definitely one that like I apply to my life. And being Cree means it doesn't like, like see how I'm dressed now. I really like I have my certain style of clothing I like. There's certain music I like. But I think Cree is like how like it's my values, and it's how I operate in the world, and it's how like I approach like most situations in my life. Like I remember my grandpa said, like, when you can learn nature, you can learn anything. And so I think that's a big part of who I am. Like I've always been really interested in economy, and economy comes from the word eco. So, economy, you're exploring the natural ecosystem of people. And so, that's just how I try to conduct my life, is to look at nature and look at people and look at like the parallels. And that's like, that comes from being like Cree. And again, there's a difference between like friendliness and respect. And so I feel like that's something you learn in like, you learn through your culture is like, respect is like really important, and respect every year. I feel like I'm learning more and more about it, and what that like legitimately means. Like respect doesn't always mean being super elated to see someone, but respect's like an action or an inaction on how you feel about a person. So like, try to be really diligent about my actions, and that's like, that's like Cree philosophy right there.
And your Guyanese heritage, how do you connect with that?
Well, I sit cross-legged a lot, which my dad does, so I'd say that's pretty Guyanese of me. But that's like, there's definitely things about me that are really Guyanese, because thing is I was talking to someone who was a coder, and they did codes, and I was asking them about coding and asking this, that, and the third about it. And they're saying, every time you step out of your house, you're writing a code. You're planning your day. You're looking at where it's going to go, and you're making the circuit of when you're going to go back home, and you're dealing with 100 different problems. And so when you look at culture, it's the same thing. It's like thousands of years of coding inside of a person, and it's going to let you like know where to go and how to problem solve. And so, I'm pretty aware of how my Cree culture affects me, and I'd say like being Guyanese, I'm learning about that one right now. Like, for this record that I wrote, one of the books was called Immigrants and Cane Cutters, and it's about my great grandfather who was an indentured slave in Guyana. And so when I was reading that book, Guyana is it's a really amazing place because it's made up of Southeast Asians and Africans, and there's parts in the book where they talk about how in the town where my dad grew up, there was like a synagogue, there was a mosque, and there was a church, but because it was such a small town, all these like places were so close together, and people didn't really feel like disdain for each other. And so I think, part of my Guyanese heritage, or part of my like Guyanese roots is living in relation to people and living in spite of people, not despite of people. Yeah.
So having your Cree culture, your Guyanese culture has really enriched your life, and like you say, that coding to find your way to get where you want to be. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
I know something else that you've been involved with and you're very passionate about is working with young people.
Yeah.
Through certain programs. Can you share the names of some of those programs and what you do?
Yeah, I work at Studio 393, and I work at Nidinaway right now. And so those are both in like the downtown of Winnipeg. I've been working there since I was attending those programs. Studio 393 I was attending since I was a youth.
And that's a hip-hop program, dance program, and other programs for youth. Is that right?
Yeah, that one's correct, and it's in the downtown of Winnipeg. And so, I was attending that one at 14, and then I got a job there around 5 years ago, and I've kept working there since because I really love the program. And I really love working with young people because young people will keep you humble. Like, I had a 13-year-old kid the other day tell me that I was cringe. That was deadly. And I thought it was pretty funny. So,
but he meant it in a good way.
I like to think so. Yeah. But I really like working with youth because, youth are, you can ask them, like, for example, the word respect. There was one youth that I was working with, and I was like, what does, like, respect mean to you? And then he said, sometimes to respect yourself, you have to defend yourself. You can't let people see that they're getting under your skin. And to be honest, I was like, that's something that I had a really challenging time with. But when I heard that, I thought that was like an amazing thing. At like 13 years old, this kid knows that about the world, that to like respect yourself, you have to kind of defend yourself. And so I feel like I'm always learning things about that through working with youth. And the other thing is, there's this quote that I love where it was, there's this rapper from this rap group called The Coup, and they were doing a talk in Winnipeg, and they said, we don't give people the tools of art because it's going to make them a more productive member of society. We give people the tools to make art because everyone deserves to make art no matter where they are in life, and everyone deserves to document where they're from. And so that's what art's always been for me. It's been like, it's like timestamps on my life, and it's given me a lot of perspective, and it's allowed me to reflect and, hopefully give that tool back and make it just give people a better quality of life. Yeah.
And right now you're you're a recording artist, you're an independent artist.
Yep.
And why is it important for you to be at OHSOTO'KINO here in Alberta, in Calgary right now?
It's important for this program because I've learned a lot through being here. Like, I've learned how to be more of an independent artist, and it's amazing to be around other artists my age and see that one. And it's really inspiring because, I think it's the arts is it's a very challenging thing because you know where you want to go, you just don't necessarily know how you're going to get there. But it's amazing and I think sometimes it can feel like a little bit isolating because you're sitting on your music, you're thinking, maybe I'm the only one doing this, and then you get to connect with other artists and see, oh, cool, there's other people that are taking the risk too, and it's I I know it's like a little bit of relief, and it's inspiring, and you get to talk and see where other people are at in their journey, and it gives you more perspective, and also just it builds a bigger builds a bigger international community, because like you said, it's like I'll probably see these artists after, and that's that's an amazing thing.
When you say you know where you want to go, where do you want to go?
I want to be an independent artist. I want to tour, and I want to produce for other artists. Those would be like that's what I want to do long term. And so I mean that's what I want to do. But I also want to be an artist with full rights to my art, and I want to have like creative direction, and this is a long term thing for me. So yeah.
Nice. And what is one or two examples of so far in your career where you go, okay, this is where I have to be. This is where I want to be. This is the right thing for me to be as an artist. What is there a moment or two that you can share where that came to mind?
I think. I mean, there was. Because I'm doing some of the music videos for my record, and then I'm also when I was recording the record, I was recording strings, and I was recording piano, and I was recording live synthesizers, and I did like kind of a mini documentary, so I got one of my friends to film it, and it was really amazing doing the string section on the record, because it was like I had planned it, I had talked about it, and then I had wrote some of the music for the person to play. And then when I was doing it, I was recording it at my house. I had rented a mic from Long and McQuaid. And I thought it was a really, really beautiful moment, because it was like I got to bring in the string player who never really like played strings for hip hop before. And the video person was like, "This is really cool that you're doing it out of your house." So I was like, I'm really passionate about this record. And then even the string player was saying that he heard some stuff on the record. So, he said, "Can I play some stuff?" I said, "For sure." And he played some stuff, and I ended up just keeping it on the record because I thought it was really cool. And just like that moment of having that many people together for a single cause was like, is a really beautiful thing, and it's like it's a really relieving thing, and it was cool because we got to like have a really fun moment, have a really special moment, and that's to me the production is like really that's the part that I'm really enthusiastic about. And even for the video, I hired dancers, and some of the dancers are people that I've known for like most of the people on the record that did the music or did the visual, they're all people from Winnipeg, and all people that I've grown up with or lived in relation to. And most of the people I've seen around, they've always been like, "I want to make a video for you," or like, "I want to do dancing for you." And now like that, like I have a vision or I have a goal, I can like hire them to do that, and everyone's been super excited.
And why do you think that is? Why do you think artists are reaching out to want to work with you? Like, is it, what do you think that's about?
I think it's my personality. I try to make it a good experience for everyone, and I try to like make it, and I try to listen to people, and like I try to like have like I have my vision, I have my idea, but I'm also very open to other people, doing what they want to do on that one. And I think I'm really a big fan of making a really good working environment. I think because making a good working environment is how you create really good art.
And that's what we're here. We're talking about art. The music you're doing is, like as we talked about, it's a bit experimental. It's different than what people think of when they think of hip hop. And you haven't talked about like, I'm doing this to make money. And there is that commercial side. There is that side where you want to make an income at the same time for your art. Yeah. How are you balancing that out in your mind?
I think living within my means is a big one. And I think, honestly, like, yeah, I would love to make income, but yeah, that's not why you do this. It's you make great art because like it's important, and it's how and I mean that's the reason why it's important for me to like make rap music the way that I'm making it, is because like when I was younger, I never saw a representation of me like in the rap world and world in general. So try to like do that one. So if I'm feeling whatever I'm feeling, I know that there's other people feeling the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you do it, not for like 1,000. Like if it's one person that feels something, that's that's a great thing. And also too, I was really fortunate when I was younger because I got to see some really cool musicians, and some of my favorite musicians were musicians that had traveled the world, that had seen the world. And when I would talk to them, they would ask me 1,000 questions. And I thought that was a really beautiful thing, because I'm like, man, this is someone that traveled the world, or this is someone that's seen everything. Why do they want to know about me? And they'd ask me like, how do I make my beats? How do you do this? And I thought that's the kind of person I want to be when I'm older. I don't really, I want to live, I want to survive, but ultimately I want to just keep being interested and make people feel special, no matter where they're at. And so that's why I'm as a person. That's my music has to reflect.
I've seen you perform at one outdoor festival, hip hop festival, and when you were on stage, you had the biggest reaction out of the 4 acts I saw. And the person beside me was, he's like, this is the most unique rapper in Winnipeg. That's why all these people are here, going out to the front of the stage, like to check you out. And I was like, wow, what a compliment. And, what do you thought? What are your thoughts when people say things like that?
Oh, it's a really, I know it's, I feel really grateful to hear that, because, what I'm trying to do is really, it's really unique to my experience, and it is a big risk. And, and sometimes just hearing words like that will like I remember, just someone, they were eating a sandwich one time and they were talking really cavalier, and they said, so yeah, you're going to release a record, and then, when you get successful, then you can start hiring a team. And I thought that was really, man, when I heard that, I was like, I got really shell shocked. I was like, when I'm successful, I was like, I don't know if that'll ever be a time, but that was, someone told that to me 2 years ago. And so when someone says this is the most unique rapper, it's like, I hold on to those words like so much, because every night, like most times when I go to bed, I have a vision, or I have a dream of how it's going to be coming together. But there is a little bit of like, I'm nervous. It's a risk. Mm-hmm. It's, I'm trying to like do something different. And so, a little bit of a trailblazer in that sense. And I don't necessarily know what the outcome's going to be. There's a lot of wonder, but I guess that's the really great thing about music. Mm-hmm. And so hearing that, just like, I feel really, really grateful.
And this program, when you think about that, I imagine it's it's giving you preparation.
Oh yeah, this program is giving me so much preparation. Like, I'm learning what I could do on the next record a little bit better, and I'm also learning about. We did vocal coaching, which is amazing. So when I get home, I'm going to practice that.
So you're a hip hop artist, and you're getting vocal coaching. What is that about?
So we learned about vocal techniques for cool downs. We learned about vocal techniques for warm ups, and then also we would learn about breath control. As much as I do rap, I do try to take as much like musical risks as possible. So there are a few of my parts of my songs where I sing, and so I want to use that vocal coaching to my advantage. And I mean, like I said, I've always been really interested in music. So whatever I can learn about music is to me a blessing. Like, when I first started rapping, I wrote my own lyrics. I thought this was cool. And then I was like, I need beats that are going to sound like me. So I learned how to make beats. And then I was like, I should get this mixed and mastered. and then it was really expensive at the time. So then I took mixing courses. I was like, I'm going to learn how to mix. And then I took a mixing course. I was like, I'm going to save up, get my own gear. Did that one. And so anytime that I can learn something new, it's just makes me more of an independent artist, and, you know, it gives me more chance to keep my autonomy and, keep my creative freedom. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking some time to share with us. It's great to learn more about you and your music and your involvement in community. And we just want to say thank you so much and all the best of luck. And, everybody at NMC is certainly rooting for you. So,
Safe.
Chimigwe.